My parents spent 30 years and a fortune trying to make my brother a star. They ended up booking his biggest fan's birthday dinner at my restaurant, a place they had no idea I owned. This is a story I never thought I'd be able to tell, but it's real, and it's a Christmas miracle of a different sort. It's about how my parents' favorite child syndrome collided head-on with their own selective blindness, all because of a restaurant reservation. Growing up, my younger brother, Leo, was the sun around which our family orbited. His talent, from a young age, was supposed to be music. He had a decent ear, but the real talent was in my parents' relentless belief and deep pockets. He got the best acoustic guitars, top-of-the-line amplifiers, and lessons from a renowned studio musician. Every conversation revolved around his next recital, his latest composition, his potential. My parents, Robert and Diane, saw a future of Grammy Awards and sold-out stadium tours for him. Meanwhile, Lara, was the quiet, unartistic child. My passion was food. I was obsessed with flavors, ingredients, and the quiet alchemy of a perfect meal. While Leo was practicing scales, I was meticulously crafting a spice blend for a roast chicken, or trying to bake a souffle that wouldn't collapse. I saved my own allowance for cookbooks and kitchen gadgets. My parents' support for my hobby was non-existent. "It's a nice little thing, Lara," my mom would say, patting my head. "But Leo's talent comes first." When I asked for a nicer stand mixer for Christmas, I got a gift card to a department store. Leo got a vintage Gibson. The gap only widened with time. Leo's mediocre grades were explained away as the struggles of a creative genius. His expensive university degree in music performance was paid for without question, even when his grades plummeted. My parents talked about it like a sound investment. When it was my turn, I worked 3 jobs and took out student loans to put myself through a local community college's culinary arts program. I lived off of ramen and a burning ambition to prove that my passion was more than just a hobby. My parents, of course, were proud that I was so independent. After college, the paths diverged completely. Leo graduated and spent the next 3 years finding his sound, which mostly involved playing open mic nights and living in my parents' basement, posting photos of himself looking moody with his guitar on Instagram. My parents called it his artist's journey. Meanwhile, I worked 16-hour days as a line cook, saved every cent, and eventually, with the help of a small business loan and a generous inheritance from my grandmother, started my own place. The first year of my restaurant, the Ember and Vine, was brutal. The name was a nod to the fire and passion in a kitchen, and the wine I'd hoped to one day be able to afford. The tiny space was a hole in the wall, and I was the head chef, the busser, and the dishwasher. I was in debt, my hands were perpetually scarred, and I cried in the walk-in fridge more times than I can count. While Leo posted about his latest single getting 20 streams on Spotify, I was pouring my soul into every dish. My breakthrough came in year 2. A food critic from a local magazine, a true foodie with a knack for finding hidden gems, stumbled into my place. He loved it. The review was a glowing masterpiece, calling the Ember and Vine a culinary diamond in the rough, and praising my unapologetic commitment to flavor. The review went viral, and my little restaurant became the hottest reservation in town. I hired more staff, expanded the menu, and finally, after years of sacrificing, I started paying myself. I wasn't rich, but I was building something real. My parents, of course, had no idea. My life was so separate from theirs that they never asked. When I tried to tell them, they'd change the subject back to Leo's latest garage band gig or his almost hit song. For them, my job was a decent way to make a living, but it was just a job. The call. A month ago, my mom called me. An unusual occurrence outside of a text message. She was calling to tell me about my father's 60th birthday dinner. "We have the most amazing reservation, Alara," she gushed. "It's at this place, the Ember and Vine. Have you heard of it? It's impossible to get a table. A friend of your father's pulled some strings for us." My heart pounded. The dramatic irony was so thick I could almost taste it. "Oh, no way," I said, playing along. "I've heard great things. How did you get in?" She laughed triumphantly. "Well, they're completely booked, but a friend of your father's knows the owner. They say he's this brilliant, secretive chef who's a true artist." I bit my tongue. He? She hadn't even considered it could be a woman. I asked about the menu, and she talked about it like she was describing a mythic feast. "This amazing grilled octopus and something called a deconstructed mushroom consommé. It sounds so sophisticated. Your father is so proud that we're going there." She went on and on about the dinner, the fancy Hamptons-esque atmosphere, the celebrity chef. I let her. She was so proud of herself, so oblivious. She mentioned that Leo would be performing some new songs at the dinner, which she convinced the restaurant to allow. "They don't usually do that," she said, "but they made an exception for Leo. Everyone's so excited to see him play." And that was the final, devastating drop. My dad, my mom, and Leo celebrating their pride and joy in my sanctuary. They were bringing the very person my success was measured against, and always came up short, to a place I had built with my own hands. My place, the place they saw as the ultimate symbol of success, was a place I had never been good enough to own in their eyes. I hung up, a strange mix of emotions swirling inside me. Hurt, but also a deep sense of calm determination. This wasn't about revenge. This was about a moment of truth. The grand reveal. The day of the dinner arrived. My parents had booked the private dining room, and my staff was excited about the high-profile reservation. I told my sous chef to hold the fort while I went out to greet them. I walked out of the kitchen in my crisp white chef's coat, my name, Chef Alara, embroidered on the chest. I went to their private room, where my parents and Leo were already seated. They were gushing about the decor and the menu. "Hello, welcome to the Ember and Vine," I said, a slight tremor in my voice. My dad looked up first. His face went from a pleasant smile to utter confusion. My mom's eyes went wide. Leo's mouth, which had been mid-sentence, just hung open. "Alara?" my mom stammered. What are you doing here? Are you a hostess?" My dad just stared. Leo looked mortified, as if I was a stain on the perfect evening he had imagined. I walked to the head of the table. "I'm the head chef. And the owner. Welcome to my restaurant." I kept my voice steady, professional. The silence that followed was deafening. My dad's face went from confusion to a slow dawning of horror. My mom just looked at me, then at my chef's jacket, then around the room. But the owner is a famous chef," my mom finally said. "Robert said he knows him." "That would be me," I said, gesturing to myself. They were referring to me. Leo piped up, a nervous smile on his face. "This is a joke, right? You're helping out a friend?" "No, Leo. This is my restaurant," I said, turning to him. "I've owned it for over 2 years now." My dad finally found his voice. "We thought you were working at a place like this, not owning it." His tone was a mix of shock and something like disappointment. "You never asked," I said simply. "You were too busy talking about how you knew the famous owner. The same owner you've been bragging about for weeks is your daughter. You just didn't want to see it." I looked at my dad, who seemed to shrink in his chair. "I just wanted to give you a moment of truth, Dad," I said quietly. "For once, I wanted to show you what I had built, without you filtering it through a narrative where I am less than Leo." My mom started to cry. "We're so proud of you, Alara." Of course we are. Were you proud of me when you called my cooking a hobby? When you refused to help me with my loans because all your money was for Leo's career? Or were you just proud of the idea of me when you found out my restaurant was famous? I wasn't yelling. My voice was firm and controlled, which made it all the more impactful. Leo, who had been completely silent, suddenly stood up. I think we should go. No, Leo, I said, looking him in the eye for the first time. Sit down. We're going to have this conversation, whether you like it or not. My parents didn't have a comeback. They were cornered. They had built their entire identity around a lie, and now that lie was staring them in the face, wearing a chef's coat and holding the reservation book. They were stuck between their son, the artist, and me, the successful hobbyist. The aftermath. They stayed and ate the dinner I served them. They tried to be proud, but it felt forced, strained. My dad kept his head down, my mom made excuses, and Leo was utterly silent. After they left, my staff came to me. What was that, chef? My sous chef asked. You were amazing. I just smiled. The next day, my parents called. They wanted to talk. It wasn't an apology. It was a negotiation. They tried to act like this was a normal thing. We're so proud of you, honey. The food was delicious. How about we invest in your next location? I just laughed. No thanks, Mom. I've got this. Leo sent me a text message that night. He was in shock. I can't believe you did that, he wrote. You always have to show me up. My heart just sank. He didn't get it at all. It's been 6 months since that night. My parents are trying to build bridges, but on my terms. My dad sent me an email with some business advice, which was a start. My mom calls more often, and she talks about the Ember and Vine with her friends, no longer as the restaurant she's heard about, but as her daughter's place. But I'm not giving them a free pass. I've learned to set boundaries. I don't need their approval anymore. My real family is the one I chose, my amazing staff, the people who helped me build this from the ground up, and my customers who tell me my food changed their day. Leo is still trying to get a record deal, but last I heard, he's back at my parents' house, and they're considering a different career path for him. And my restaurant is thriving. The Ember and Vine has become a symbol of my independence, the place where I finally earned my worth. And the ironic part? My parents are now my biggest fans. They just had to learn to look past their golden child to see the one they had all along. My parents spent my entire life and all their money on my brother's failed music career, while completely dismissing my passion for cooking as a hobby. I quietly started my own restaurant. For my dad's 60th birthday, they booked a reservation at my place, not knowing I was the owner. When I revealed myself in my chef's coat, the family drama exploded, and they were forced to finally see me for who I was, not a hobbyist, but a successful restaurateur.